true. Good times, sunshine, gonna be here in no time now. Bad times, gray skies, push them all away, turn them upside down. You're gonna break new ground, turn everything around. You're gonna live your life. There's a beautiful day headed your way. Keep your head up, you'll be okay. Beautiful day waiting for you. Just open your eyes, you'll see it's true. A beautiful day.
Well, welcome back to the Booga Box live stream. It's Monday, Medium Project Monday. We're going to change it up a little bit tonight, though. I've been normally working on the purse frames, but I had no chance to get anything really done on those, or on anything really over the weekend. Everything got a little put off, so we're going to go ahead and work on the inlay tonight. I wanted to get a little further on it before Thursday, so I was like, well, we'll just go ahead and do it tonight. I wanted to work on it during the, oh, come on, you need to, there we go. Wanted more work done on it before we get into Thursday, so since I didn't get a chance over the weekend, I figured tonight would be a good night to go ahead and do so. I'm going to, trying to get this out there. Okay. So, again, I hope everybody had a good weekend. It was a pretty busy weekend here. Pretty busy today, kind of for the most part. One reason why we're not doing the picture frame, just because I couldn't get this cleaned up in time to get out all the picture frames, or purse frame stuff. So, we're going to go ahead and get working on this tonight. Like I said, by Thursday I should be able to announce kind of what it is, if nobody can guess it yet. Yeah. Like I said, not a super big, I mean, it's going to be a fairly large inlay, but only using basically 3 colors, a little 4th color thrown in there. But that's what we're going to do tonight. Don't forget, on Wednesday, we're going to try to redo the giveaway again on Wednesday this week. Tried to last week. We just didn't have enough people. I wanted to at least have 3 people in here, and we only had 1 during the time I wanted to do the stream or do the giveaway, so we postponed it a week. I need to make an announcement on that on the Facebook page and stuff too. So you can always come back on Wednesday. It's normally going to be later in the stream, so I mean, you don't have to show up early, but it's nice if you do. But show up Wednesday. I did show what I was going to give away last week, so we're going to do a titanium ball pendant necklace, is what I plan on giving away. So show up this Wednesday, anytime after 7:30, probably be more around the 8 to 8:15 time mark when we Central Time, when we do the giveaway for that. So be sure to check back. And you don't have to be on Facebook to be part of that. You can be on YouTube or Twitch, as long as you can type in a reply saying you want into the giveaway. That's all you need to do to be there. So, again, I hope everybody had a good weekend. I was pretty busy Friday. Had a football game Friday night. Saturday, we had it was kind of a standing parade. For the band that I help out, so I was there for, I don't know, I got there, I left here at 11:30, got back at 4, so time I got home, though, my back was hurting, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do a stream that, Saturday night. Ended up taking a nap, woke up a little late, and I was like, well, I could still do it, but my back wasn't feeling any better, so I was like, well, we'll try again Sunday. And then I got busy Sunday doing stuff. I need my orange juice. And then I had an early day today. I had to take the wife to, where we go? Put him over here. 3-6. She had a couple of procedures she needed done, tests today. So we had to get up at 5 this morning, get her out to the hospital early. She got done roughly around 2. So, had to take care of that. And
Apollo 69.
just didn't have much time to get this straightened up. Well, I was getting some other things caught up from over the weekend whenever I had band stuff. House gets a little crazy, especially when it's a 2-day band event, you know, Friday, Saturday. A lot of stuff gets put off on those 2 days, so when I come back and get to it, you know, it kind of delays everything else. Other than, again, I didn't have any orders. All my orders I'd taken care of as soon as I got them, and they were quick and easy enough that I didn't need to move this. I can work on my desk or my other half of the bench or stuff, and so that's one reason why I didn't move this. Eventually, though, if I get the full live stream setup going, or that's where I'll only be doing live stream stuff, then I won't have to worry about it having even more bench space to do stuff. But it is Halloween week. I guess Halloween's coming up on Sunday. I've got a pumpkin I need to do tomorrow. There's a chainmail carving, pumpkin carving contest from Mailworks that I want to do. Got an idea. I have no idea if it's going to come out. I haven't done any kind of pumpkins in at least, I'm trying to think. I was trying to think the other day. I guess I did a basic one helping out the grandkids a few years ago, but I didn't do much to it, and I haven't done one of myself in at least 15, 20 years. I mean, I'm not even sure. I think I did one when we first bought the house when my kids were younger themselves, which would have been about 16, 17 years ago. So it's been a while since I've done any kind of pumpkin stuff, so who knows what it's going to come out like. Hopefully it'll turn out okay. Oops, I forgot to put on the live chat stuff so I can check out live chatting. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. Oh, I gotta flip back over to the Booga box. Oh, got a share from, I got a couple shares. And a heart from Sean. Sean White, he's Mailworks guy. That's the guy putting on the contest, and who also does live streaming. He normally starts up his stream around 9 o'clock my time, Central Time. I think it's 8 o'clock for him. But you should go over there and check out his stuff. He's been working on some cool bead style, large beads, metal beads, chainmail bracelets that are really cool. He's going to start selling some of those beads himself, and I'm probably going to get me a few just so I can build a few bracelets out of them. Been watching him do it, going, man, I want some. So many things I want to do. I don't know if you caught last Wednesday, we were doing the Half Persian 2. Oh, I got a thingy pop up in my way here again. Alright, and I'll look at that after the stream tonight. I got some band work to do after the stream tonight too, though. But yeah, hopefully I'll remember. I've been trying to remember to put a link over to Mailworks. But if you follow them, give them a follow, give them a like, go over there, watch some of his streams. I enjoy watching his streams. It's kind of the inspiration, what kind of got me going when he was doing the, well, for my local friends here that might be watching, it was a Raiders flag, trust me. But it was still chainmailed, so I had to watch. And, so, yeah, you'll just have to go over and check out his stuff on his page, give him a follow, give him a like. Check out some of his streams. He does some cool stuff. And he does show his face, which I plan on doing when I can get a better setup, which I hope to at the end of December. At least maybe if I still work in the same spot here, I'm hoping I can get it in a better, easier format to set up for that. Because I did do it when I did the giveaway, the big giveaway a few weeks ago, about a month ago now, I guess. When we got to 300 followers, 300 likes. And I plan on doing another bigger one besides the monthly ones once we get up to 500. So we still got a while to go on that. I think we're just a little over 300 right now, so we still got a while, but get us out there, get it shared, let people know. There's not a ton of chain mailers out there, like I've said before. When I've chatted with others that have been doing it for years and years and years too, at any given time there's 20-30,000 chain mailers worldwide, really. Sometimes it fluctuates, there might be more, but a lot of people just do it for hobby. Not a lot of people do it as a business. And I can understand why it's a time-consuming business for sure. And then you got to promote yourself, and that's my downfall, is trying to promote myself. I always feel weird promoting myself, trying to share myself out there and stuff. It's just an odd feeling to me. But I'm trying to get better at it, and it's one of the reasons why I'm doing the streams, to let people know that I'm always active doing something. Because there for a while there was not a whole lot of posts I was making, but if you followed any of this before, you know that I just hate making the same posts over and over again. Though now it's just a bunch of stream posts. I've got a ton of pictures I need to take. But the band stuff is pretty much done. I mean, marching season. They have a banquet next week, and then after that it's more into the concert season, and there's just one concert before Christmas. They'll have a winter concert then. And then there might be a few jazz band events that I'll be hitting. And not till about March into April when they start having a few pre-contest concerts that I'll be going to. So even there was, I think I'm up to 12, 13 events that were major events, not counting Tuesdays and all that, but that they had for the marching season. And most of them were in October. August a little bit, but that was more band camp and some family showcases, and then football. I think there was only one actual football game in September, and then there might have been two. Yeah, two. Might have been one at the end of August, one mid-September, and then in October we had 3 more. They normally have 5 home games a year. 4 to 5, this year's a 5. I guess there was a possibility for this Friday. I need to look, but I haven't heard about it having one this Friday, so. This Saturday will be a banquet that I normally go to and try to get pictures of, kids getting rewards and all that. Was it last year? Yeah, last year I missed the marching banquet. I didn't have the COVID, but my youngest had been in contact with somebody that had it, so we all did our quarantining. Even though she got tested, everybody was fine, nobody had it, so. But I did have to end up missing it. I did watch a live stream of it, though. I had one of the band parent officers was like, "Can you set up a Zoom thing so I can at least watch it and see what was going on?" So I sat there and watched that. I don't know if I'm going to live stream that or not. I have been doing actually some band live streaming here lately. Got a setup for my cell phone, and it's not the greatest quality, but it still lets extended family, if they want to watch it, some of these kids, they can share out links to them and watch it live, or I post all the other video too up on YouTube, so I've got a band video channel on YouTube for them. I've been posting to that for 12-ish years now or so when I made that first up, so. But that'll be gone, and then still waiting on the events if they're going to have my normal fall 2, the 2 in the fall that I have. I might end up, I'm still trying to find some others, but some I'm just they're coming up, and most of these things you got to get to in advance quite a bit, some of them. Some of them you have to be jurred to see if they want you to be there or not, so trying to find a few others, at least within a decent, close enough to us. I don't want to travel too far per se, but, and then is it going to be worth it, is the other thing. Because some of the entries to get into some of these are way more than I think that I would make at one of these events. I'm trying to find more Renaissance-y fair style stuff. That's where, you know, chainmail goes over a lot more than a normal craft fair, because, you know, I still get a lot of people interested in seeing it and have never seen chainmail before, especially the things you can do with it. So that's one reason I do like doing it, though. It kind of gets it out there more. Because if I go to Renaissance festivals, you know, people kind of expect to see chainmail. And more in the armor side per se, but, you know, most of the places, they'll have, you know, jewelry chainmailers there too. I do a lot of jewelry chainmail, but I try to mix it up. That's why I do the lampshades, I do some inlays, try to do a variety of different things just to show you that it can be more than armor. Definitely be more than armor. And it can, you know, depending on what kind of material you use. I think I mentioned a few times, a lot of the stuff that I work with is anodized aluminum, but it's good quality. It can take years and years for it to really wear. My wife's got a ton of stuff I built for years and years ago. It still looks great, you know. Just a little soap water cleanup on it at times. But, I mean, I've done fine silver, sterling silver. Haven't worked in the gold yet. Something I'd like to, but I've done titanium, niobium, bronze, brass, copper, stainless steel. So there's a variety of materials you can use. And, you know, if you use some of the titanium and stainless steel, we can weld that stuff up, and boy, it becomes nice sturdy pieces. You know, I've done several, many actually, wallet chains out of stainless, and some are welded, some are not. They don't have to be welded, but you know, welding takes a lot more time to weld up each one of these individual rings. You know, it might be a 10-second process to closing up a ring, but then you add in a weld to it also, and then to clean up the welds too. So it can raise the price up a bit, but you know, you expect that with a welded piece. But I've had, you know, all kinds of neat little pendant style chainmail you can do, or you can go creatures. There's a lot of people out there that have done all kinds of animals. Oh, excuse me. Inlays like this, but necklaces and bracelets and headpieces, and I've actually made my wife a skirt. I've made a few tops, so I've made a variety of different things through all these years. And so, well, like I said, if you've seen it, well, this is just a basic inlay. It's a 4-in-1 weave for the most part. Well, it is. But it's kind of like, you know, doing a, oh, what do they call those things? I always forget the name of them. Mosaic style. You're kind of using, you know, when people make mosaics out of different colors to make a picture. Kind of doing the same purpose, but you're using rings. You know, it can take a little while to make your design up and the way you want it. And rings, when you do it like this, aren't actually even. Let's say, you know, if I go pour one way and pour the other way, it's going to be a different size each way. So you have to manipulate your picture that you want to use and get it to fit within the parameters that you're looking for. And that can take a little bit of work. Finding the right picture too, if you're doing like a portrait style picture. And other times on some of the easier designs like the bass clef and treble clefs that I've done several of those, smaller inlays. I've done a Punisher one, West Virginia football one. I can't even remember all of them that I've actually done, but you know, those sometimes I'll just use a graph piece of paper, and I've got a graph of European 4-in-1, and I can just kind of come through with colored pencils and color in the little spots I want until, you know, if I don't like it, I can sometimes erase it, but depending on where I'm at in it. Other times I'll just grab another graph paper and then just color it back into the way I want it till I get to the design I like, and that kind of gives you your layout once you're there. So once you get into it, it's more just a tedious process of getting the right rings into the right spots. And before we get too far in, I do want to thank everybody again that has watched or commented and liked on any of our live streams. And I've actually got some other just videos that I posted on YouTube. I think I posted them on my Facebook page too, but they're probably back a little bit now. I just recently started the well, I started the YouTube when I started doing streaming, and I went ahead and added back in some videos that I'd had before that. But we're up to, I think, 7 months of pretty much streaming now. I need to double check and make sure. I believe this is right. I don't need to check. Wanted to make sure I was right before I get onto my next line, because next line I'll start changing up. Still the same colors, but it's a bit of a change up in color mix for a little bit. I think once I start probably 2-3 more lines, I think it'll start being a lot more noticeable what it is. And I think, what did I say? Once I get down to about line 35-ish, I think it was, that's when it'll become much more noticeable. But I think you'll be able to figure out what it is before that, because of some of the other intricacies to it before we get to that point. Even though it's kind of a pattern, same pattern all the way down, you'll get a better idea once we get into the red colors. And if you watched any of the streams before and I've talked about doing this, what I plan is an overall piece, because this is actually just part, right now I'm calling, I guess it's part 2, because I've done one part that we've already streamed and finished. This is part 2, just because I'm working on it the second. This is the second piece I'm working towards the overall. But overall, there'll be 8 main pieces in it that will all come together into the final product, whatever. And then there's going to be at least 2 smaller pieces added to it, which will take us up to 8 big pieces, 2 smaller pieces. And there could be more added. I'm unsure. I think some of the other options I want to add to it, I'm going to see once we get to the point where I'm actually starting to work them all together, is when I'll decide on if I want to add on the other parts or not. And if I do, it could be up to another 5 pieces smaller. So like I said, it'll all depend on once I actually get all the pieces kind of together, that I can start kind of loosely putting them together to see if I like it. Do I want to add anything before I fully get it all together? So it's going to be quite a long process to get there too. So like I said, this project's using 20,000, just over 20,000 rings for just this one. The last one was, I want to say about 14,000. I'd have to get out my book to see exactly how many rings was in that one. And several of them will be that, because they're portrait styles. And they'll be roughly the same size. And that's the other thing, is I'm trying to decide if I want to put borders around them or leave them open like I currently have it when they all come together. That'll be another thing I'll decide on once I can kind of start seeing them together. At least when I get this one done, I can kind of match it up with the other one and kind of start thinking more heavily on it. It'll be a definite, I'll figure it out more once I get the top piece and it'll give me a better idea of exactly where I want to put stuff. Other part is I do have an idea of my open holes that I plan on for the 2 smaller ones. But in case I make any changes, like if I add a border or something around certain parts, it's going to minus that. So I haven't created those graphics yet for that. Because like I said, I just kind of want to wait, because it could change. I could spend some time doing it, which wouldn't be a bad thing. I could still go ahead and make them as a separate piece too. But kind of want to get it to start coming together and decide if I like it or not, and how I want to change it, if I want to change it. Sometimes you just make changes on the fly. I did that on the Mahomes portrait picture inlay I did. And there were some that I changed up while I was working on it, and then I came back and I made some minor changes after I got done. I think I pulled out maybe 30-ish or so rings and changed them to different colors, because there's just a few little spots that I wasn't totally happy with. But once I was done, it was still good, but I think it actually added a little bit to it by changing up a few little things. Got a lot of compliments when we took that to the festival back in first festival we took it to. People come and seen it, and they seen it in the booth. But it was, if they came in from the side of the booth, they didn't see it because the first look was up close. Others seen it from far away and came closer to it, realizing, you know, that looks cool. What is it? And then they realized what it was, a picture of, and then they were extremely surprised when they got up to it, going, "Oh, I was not expecting it to be that." But the people that come in from the side, actually had 2 people come back after they come in from the side of the booth and left the booth, and we're hitting other booths, and they seen it from further away, and they came back and was like, that is so cool. I mean, I could see what it was up close, but as a mosaic, a little, you know, there's a little bit of a distance that it looks better than if you're right up on it. Kind of like in doing the video for it and stuff, you're kind of close to it, and it still looks good. But once you get a little bit out from it, it really starts popping and be like, oh wow. I honestly, Mahomes, I like looking at about 12 feet, I think is about the perfect distance for it. That it just really is so much better than if you're closer than that. I mean, I still like it up close. Alrighty. Now this next row, we actually start making some minor changes to our color mix-up. Like I said, I'll have to do a little bit of counting here and there. Not a whole lot, but there is some. So this line is now done. So, let me kind of give it a little bit of a spread out. We're kind of still going to be bunched up a little bit. Once we get more into it, it'll have less of this. It'll start sturdying up some, but this is the very top. This is where we're going to hang it. That first green row there. So let me mark this one off. Oop, almost marked off the wrong one. That would have put a kink into everything. So on to the next one here. Start with a little green. Little white. So I hope everybody has a good week too coming up. Being Halloween coming up and everything. Everybody hope to be safe and all that. I don't necessarily go out and do anything for Halloween myself. I haven't dressed up for years. I almost wish this past Saturday was actually it was a spooky Snake Saturday. They had to postpone the Snake Saturday parade early in the year, and they came back and wanted to do this. And so they allowed the jazz band kids, so a couple of the bands had to allow them to dress up, and it was like, yeah, you know, I haven't dressed up since I was like, oh, probably 15 years old. So 35 years ago was the last time I actually ever dressed up. And at that point, I built robots when I was a kid. Last time I went trick-or-treating was a cardboard robot I built, covered it in aluminum foil. I normally started in August working on the thing, and they were cool. I wish I had pictures of it. I really do. Mom didn't take any pictures of it. Of any of them I built I think 4 of them in total through the years, from when I was like 12, 13 is when I first started, and then 15 or 16 when I ended. I think I had 4 of them that I had done. And each one, yeah, every year, you know, they got a little more elaborate, a little more, you know, in my mind, cooler looking. I don't know if they were or not, but I had some pretty neat little things that I built. I know I had one of my final ones. I don't know. I mean, this kind of giveaway age again also, but back when Radio Shack was around, I remember one year for Christmas, I think I was probably 13, 14, they had these Armatron little robotic arms with little controllers on it, and a little arm that go around, a little hand that would open up and close, you know. It was all manually controlled, but actually one year I built that into my robot, so I had a little hand moving around out there. And I had arms on it, but I didn't put my arms through it. I was pretty much inside this box with everything attached to it, and I had this belt system hooked around my shoulders and waist to keep it all from going too crazy. And I actually wanted to build one for the kids, one of my kids, but nobody wanted me to build them a robot, so I never got to build one as an adult, because I'm like, I can come up with some really cool stuff now, plus I can buy stuff. I mean, I bought a few things when I was a kid. For mowing lawns and all that, but you know, for the arms, I bought some of the silver ductwork, dryer ductwork for my arms, and I did buy little pieces of plexiglass for eyes and whatnot that I had built into this thing. But it was cool, but it was definitely cumbersome to try to walk around in it. And the final year, I think it was probably a good 3.5 foot wide, so it was a big monstrosity walking down the street in this thing. Oh, I had the lights I had for I had the plexiglass covering for the eyes, but to make the eyes light up, I had to use what I had. So I actually had a little RC car that had lights on it, and so I mounted the car up inside the head to have light coming through from my eyeballs, the eyes of the robot, and had the little remote on a little shelf down inside there to oh man, I did it, didn't I? Yeah, I sure did. I started talking and lost track of where I was. Because we're going to have to do a little pulling here. I got so used to it being the other way. And I think it was supposed to be 2. I won't forget on the next row though, because next row is pretty much a mirror of this row. Hopefully. Looks like it didn't get super far, and it's not a huge fix. Minor fix. And this is where I think after I get a few of these rows done that you'll start really seeing it pop more on what it's going to be. So, put back over there. Oh yeah, I had the fun as a kid, and I always hoped my kids would want me to build them a robot. I had 2 girls and a boy. The girls weren't really into robots, you know, princesses and all that stuff. 1, 2. So they weren't into doing that. The boy, he was more into, you know, oh, what was he? Some of those years he was into Pokemon, whatever. I call it Pokemon just to drive kids nuts. He was a firefighter, you know, all the normal kitty things. Actually, I screwed that up too. I guess that's what I get for not counting and putting them out. I figured I could do it without having to worry about counting and getting them out and lined up. I wouldn't have attempted that on the Mahomes, but I did kind of do that on the Chiefs flag and the on my Mahomes jersey. Alright, let's get this going right now. Because actually, I guess I do change here coming up. More green now instead of white, or frost if you want to call it that. Okay, and you're going to have to come out. Alright, now I'm going to mark these off real quick so I don't screw it up again. So we've done the green to white. Green to white. Alright. And hopefully I'll remember. But now I do have grandkids. Maybe I can talk. She's got 2 boys and 2 girls. We got 2 boys, 2 girls, and grandkids. Maybe in another year or 2 they'll be old enough, or maybe one of them will be a robot. One's more into, you know, the ninjas and stuff like that. The other one's that's younger. He's been a dinosaur kid for pretty much since he could start talking and walking. Dinosaurs, dinosaurs, dinosaurs. He loves dinosaurs. He sees a dinosaur in anything. He found a rock one time, just a basic, just fairly large rock, but he insisted on it was a dinosaur egg. He wanted to take it home, and he ended up taking it home. I was like, "Oh, go ahead and take it. It can be your dinosaur egg." And he's big into dinosaurs, so I don't know if I can get him into robots anytime soon. Maybe one day. 2. But who knows? Maybe I can get one of them to do it. That'd be kind of a fun thing. Like I said, I always wanted to build one once I was older, just to build another one. Just to say that I built another as I got older. Now the problem is, when I built my own, I knew what was involved, especially wearing the thing. Well, especially after the first one I did, you know, it was like, oh man, this is crazy. Nowadays, though, not as many kids go door to door. I'll do a lot of those trunk or treat things. It'll be harder to get it around and manipulate and get them to wear it later, but excuse me. Maybe. I'd like to do one more. Maybe I should just do an adult. No, I don't want to call it an adult version. That sounds kind of bad. Being an adult and just build me another robot that would fit an adult. Is that maybe that's a better way of putting that? Let's see here. Mark that one off. 2 more of these. And this will really come together more once it hangs. Like I said, right now we're stretching it out to the full. When it's hanging up this way, it'll pull all these together tighter, and so they'll be more bunched up. Then I'm pulling them wide so I can more easily get my rings into place. 1, 2, 3. So that should be right. We're hoping it's correct. That is the problem with inlays, though, too. They can be a little bit of a pain sometimes. Making sure you got the right ones in the right place and everything lines up later on for you. I know some people that have done inlays, they've just used normal type of grid box, and I tried to do that a couple times, but things just didn't come out the way I was expecting them to. so I just made up my own graph paper of basically a ring graph paper. And I put it on so that they would have the full stretch lengthwise instead of widthwise. And how many is that one going to be? Okay, that one's, the next one is the 3. Let me grab a couple more here. Only pull out what I need right this second, because then I'm going to have to make a big count here soon. At least for this row. After this, I will have less counting to do, because I'll be able to use the line before as my guide. And this is the last one of this. And so I'll have to do a big old count for my next color of green. Mark this one off. And so now let's count out a bunch of these. Let's see if I can get close. We'll see. Yeah, let's just drop them all and call it good. Let's see here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 46, 48, 50, 52, 54, 56, 58. I should have kept those two in my hand that I dropped, and I would have been right on. I was just like, I know it's got to be getting close. I'll just throw those in there too. So. I do want to thank my viewer. Oh, I did lose my viewer over on Twitch. Sorry. I didn't see you post, but I knew I had a viewer over on Twitch. Not sure. I guess I need to click that back so I can see my viewer count on the YouTubes. I do think I've seen several people drop by real quick in all my streams tonight, so that's good to see. Might not be sticking around a lot, but that's alright. Like I said, come and go as you please. It's kind of fun to hang out. More people to get in here, you know, that's what I like about going over to Mailwork stream with Sean. There's always a bunch of people that'll pop in, pop out, you know, over there. And you can have little side conversations amongst the, you know, I'm not doing the stream, I'm just there hanging out and watching, but I'll chat with the people that are watching the stream. We chat with Sean too, but we can have our own little side chat sometimes going on in there. I've helped out a few people in his stream when they were asking about a certain weave and stuff. You know, I could give out pointers on what I do on certain things, and other people do the same. And John shows up on my stream a lot. He shows up over there too. Wish I could get Barb over here. I always have fun with Barb. I misspelt her name one day and called her Bard. And now whenever I say hi to her, I just say, hey, Bard. She's okay with that, though. I asked her. It's like, I hope you're okay with me calling you that. She's like, yeah, that's fine. But we've had good conversations over there, so maybe I should do that earlier tonight. Where are we at here? 40-ish minutes, 43-ish. Probably take a quick break to take a drink. Maybe I'll go ahead and add a link over to Mailworks. I found out I can easily add a link over to his stuff where you can just click on the text box that I'll have or in the chat here. Send you right over to his stuff. I normally finish up before he starts his stream, or I'd link straight to his stream. There's been a few times I've run over, but the actual nights that I've ran over, he ends up not streaming those nights. So, I do have a set day for my streams. He normally streams more nights a week than I do, but sometimes if he's got other things going on, he might not stream every night. So, and then a few nights, I don't know why it is with Facebook, I'm not getting notifications for his streams. I have to manually go look. So hopefully if you sign up and like, or give it a like and follow on his stuff, you'll get notifications. The other part is I do get his notifications for YouTube and his Twitch stream, but I have to have my email open, and I normally don't have my email open while I'm streaming, so it's not till I shortly get done with my stream that I open up my email program again. But it's always crazy when I get done doing a stream. There's all the shutting down stuff. Gotta feed and water the cats. Well, feed them. They always have plenty of water, but I get the soft food, and then the big boy's got to get his insulin shot. So I'm normally always just kind of crazy time right after a stream, trying to get everything caught back up and done before I can finally sit back down and watch his. Sometimes I miss them, but I end up watching them later. So I always say on my stream, come back, watch them later. Can't watch them live. Videos are out there, you can watch them later. Unless you're like me, and whenever I go watch Sean stream at Mailworks, I'll forget that I'm not watching it live, so I'm seeing him sitting there talk, and normally it auto defaults for the chat area to just, as the video's playing, the chat pops up as things come, so you kind of keep in the conversation that people were having with him at that time. And I'll forget that I'm actually just watching the video later, and I'll start commenting going, well, why didn't nobody reply back to me when I said something? And I'm like, oh yeah, this is not live right now, dummy. I've done that on his stream a couple times. I'll forget that I'm not watching it live. But you can find his stuff on Twitch too, and YouTube. He's been talking about maybe not doing the YouTube as much anymore. But he still does, so you can find him in all those places. Yeah, let me go ahead and get one more here. I'm going to grab me a quick drink of water. We'll add a link into their chat box for Mailworks. We'll come back here because we're about halfway through, I guess. About 45 minutes in. Max will be another 45 minutes, but like I say, I plan for an hour and a half. I try to go, well, I always go over an hour, but after the first hour, it kind of depends on what else is going on. If I stick around for that half an hour, normally on my Wednesday night, small project night, sometimes on those, I'll go up to that time because I'm working a couple different, I'll get one done and want to continue working another. But it kind of depends on where I'm at, if it's a good stopping point or not. Nice cold water. Alright, let me come over here real quick and add that Mailworks. Well, I thought I could do that. Way to go, capital. Now let me just try to go. Why is it not working today? That's a bummer. Let me try. Yeah, that's still not there. Huh. Facebook drives me nuts. They change up their stuff every day, it seems like. Sometimes they just, let's try this. Let's see if people like this. You find something that ends up working, and you're like, hey, good. Yeah, it's not going to work either. That's one thing I will say that does drive me nuts about the Facebook here. Now, let me see here. How can I easily... Oh, yeah. Okay. But, like, I had the stream key. That drove me nuts for a while. And they finally fixed that, where I don't have to open up the advanced options anymore to use my standard stream key. because I forgot to do that a few times when I went to start the stream. It wasn't working. I'm like, what's going on here? And now that finally works properly. But now I can't seem to easily, add a link without going over and copying it by the looks of it. Last week I was able to just type it in real easy. But this week, not so much. And next week it'll probably change again. But everything's going good on the live stream tonight, so that's good. The internet hadn't cut me out tonight like it did the last several times. Alright, can I just copy paste over this link? Maybe next time I'll have that more open and ready to go. Well, it's still not. There it goes. So there's a link in it finally. But maybe let's try it this way now. Nope, still not. Yeah, I don't know why I can't just type in Mailworks anymore. I used to be able to type it, it'd auto fill in and give me the rest, and I could just click it and it would automatically put him up there. Plus, it lets him know that I was sending people over. Without that, now it's just a link there, so he doesn't get a notification that I'm sending stuff. Maybe that's what they decided. They were getting tired of people getting notifications, or people were getting tired of seeing notifications when somebody would add their stuff. But I'd rather have that, you know. Somebody adds a link to my stuff into their stuff, you know. I'd like to know that, so I'll go over and thank them. Which I guess can lead into get out there and give me the shares and likes out to people. Give me a thumbs up, a happy face, a heart, whatever you feel is good for you. I like getting all those, and they help with the algorithm to get more people to notice me. Even though we're kind of one of those, like I said, an odd-ish craft. I think there's probably many more crocheters out there than there are mailers, so any little bit helps get us out there a little bit more without having to pay Facebook, I guess, for all the extras they want you to advertise for this X amount of money and get this many views. And it's like, yeah, but I want to have people that want to kind of come here. I don't want to have just generic people that just click on it and then come, and it's not their cup of tea, so they don't plan on sticking around in anyway. It's one thing I do when I look at the graphics that Facebook gives you on your breakdowns on people who come. There's a generic and a paid graph to see where your clicks are coming from, and all mine are, I guess they call it organic. All mine have been all organic for the most part. Well, I think they all have. I don't think I have, because I haven't paid for any links, so they all have to be organic. So I only see the one color in my graph, and I guess it would be a second color if you had a paid links and click overs and all that. So it's kind of like on the Twitch. Normally at least once a week I'll get somebody on Twitch that'll want to be famous, click here. Want to be famous, click here. No. I want to be the unknown chain mailer. You know, when I first started doing it, when I was like, if I ever put my head on, my face on one of my streams, I was half tempted to do a brown paper sack on my head. There was a magician years ago who used to, the masked magician, always wore a paper bag over his head. So like, that's what I'd rather do. I've never cared for having my picture taken. Maybe that's why my mom doesn't have a whole lot of me. I just got used to not having pictures taken for so long. It feels weird when I get a picture taken of me. Yeah, it was this past spring at the band banquet for the concert season banquet they had. I was there getting pictures of all the kids and their awards and stuff, and band parents gave me a little gift card and not a greetings card, just a thank you card for everything that I've done and do for him and everything, which was nice. Extremely weird because I had to be up in front of everybody, but then I had a few parents there like, stop, I want a picture. I was like, oh no, I don't want my picture taken. But as a kid, I didn't really, Mom didn't have cameras back then very often, so I mean now it's a lot easier. You got a camera picture taker in your pocket practically, if you got a cell phone anymore. There was a time where you had to have a digital camera to get the pictures. When I was a kid, it was before that time. We had Polaroids, and I do think it was, I had a few. We had what were those things? Compact disc? No, they were a disc camera. The film in them was like a little round disc that you put in there. I forget what they actually call them now. That's what I had. That was the first camera I ever got, was that style. And then shortly after that, they started having a lot of they were 35mm cameras, but they were like built in a cardboard box. They were like quick snap picture things. You just drop the box off, get your pictures back. But I did have a 35mm Canon shortly after I graduated high school. I don't ever remember what happened to it. I was young and dumb. And it was a nice camera, but at the time it still used 35mm, film. You had to load up all the dang time, and it was such a pain in the butt. And then, when I started having my kids, it was like digital cameras were coming out, and they had a few of the cheap Kodak digital cameras. It did okay, but your picture size was 300 by 280 or something. So they were really small pictures. Now on the computers at the time they would look rather large. But now I've still got a lot of those files that I'd saved from back then. I go back to look at some of the kids' pictures, and it's like on a screen nowadays, it's like just a little tiny square on there. You try to blow it up, it looks like crap. File sizes were really tiny. My T6 that I use now, my T6i, I'll take pictures on that thing, and just one picture in itself is 10, 12 megabytes per picture. And I mean, I've got files for, that had 100 pictures in it that wasn't even that large. And some are even bigger. And then when I resave them or do any editing to them, and I don't save them as PNG, they're even larger. That's why I got Google Drive set up for the band parents for any pictures and stuff that I upload anymore, because they're like, send me the picture in email. Oh, my email won't let me send anything over 10 megabytes. And every picture's over that, so I'd have to send you want 15 pictures? That's going to be 15 separate emails. I guess it's kind of one thing I like about the Google Drives, though. It's definitely helped with the band stuff. I can have people upload their pictures they take, so I can use them for making the DVDs. I can upload, I've been doing most of the pictures here the last 3 or so years of the band kids, the individual pictures. And I'll just put them up there and give links out to the band parents. Say, here's where the pictures are. Go find your kid, download the picture, you got it. I don't want it, I'm not charging for any of this. I just have fun helping out the band, so come get to what you want. And then at events, daughter, my youngest, used to help me do most of my pictures, as I did the video back then. She could take some good pictures. She's got my old T3 camera now. She's had less time to do anything like that, but I know she likes it. She took it with her when she went her senior, after she graduated. She was part of a European tour band from Missouri. They had select players from Missouri that were offered to go and tour with the Missouri band of Europe, and so she went over there for 2 weeks, and she took a lot of awesome pictures. Posted a lot on Facebook too, from just cell phone, but at least we kind of got to travel with her in a way. I know she thoroughly enjoyed that trip. I wish we would have had things like that when we were kids. I know she talks about it all the time, going, man, I'd love to go back again. I'm sure you would. 1, 2, it should be right. We hoping it comes out right. If I made the proper counts. Where are we at now? We're about an hour, so yeah. Oh, I'll mention it again. I gotta remember to post this tomorrow. Maybe I can get a few pictures tomorrow, make a post, show some pictures. I still gotta get pictures of my chessboard. I've got these other slider bracelets I did. I've got some more necklaces I need to take pictures of. Some of the purse string stuff. I'm so backed up on things. Never enough time in a day. Especially with just normal daily living. Yeah, this is right. The proper count has been given. Goody tissues. Alrighty, so that one's done, and then I know I need 3 of these. Oh, let's mark that off before. Why? I'm doing a real quick look here, and that shouldn't. My count seems awful odd. Oh, duh. Okay, yeah. It was my brain was not thinking properly. I was like, 3 should be what I need, but no, it's not. It's me wasn't thinking. I had to look at the picture real quick and then realized. We'll show the picture to this on Thursday. I don't know if I'll start with showing the picture or not. It depends on... That was one of the other reasons why I wanted to do this tonight, so I didn't have to put it up, unpack it again for tomorrow, then pack it back up for Wednesday night. It's like, if I just leave it out, do this tonight, I can have it tonight, I'll be able to have it out all day tomorrow. It does seem like I can get more stuff done during the week than on a weekend. So I was like, it'll give me time to get some more done on it tonight, tomorrow, and even Wednesday morning before I have to put it up for Wednesday night project, or a small project. Still don't know what I'm going to do on Wednesday night either, though. I did the sliders last week. Oh, I've been wanting to do the Morris Rose. That's what I've been wanting to do. I've been putting it off because I've had some other things come in. And it's like, oh, I just got these new things here. And that's what I end up working on, so. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Let me check. Oh, yeah. Hold on just a second, guys. She brung me in a mole. Marvel. Yeah, she was out there mole hunting and brung me in them. I'd say more of a teenager. She'd been having a lot of baby moles here lately, but this one a little bit bigger. Got him put up. I'll deal with him here in a few. In a way, I like it because we have such a mole problem in our yard. It's insane. Been trying everything to get rid of the stupid things, but she just keeps bringing them in. It's like I hate her killing them, but they're just tearing up the dang yard. Trying to get rid of them has just been such a pain. Actually seen the whole area around here has kind of been inundated with moles here the past several years. I actually seen a sign today coming back from the hospital picking up the wife that the mole man, give him a call for help with your mole needs. It's like I almost want to, because I'm definitely tired of, her catching them, but I think this is coming near the end of the season though, but she's probably brought in, oh Lord, I want to say at least 20, maybe even closer to 30 moles this year. And she doesn't catch them just in our yard too. I've caught her in the neighbors behind us. We've got a pretty decent sized backyard. I think we're on a third of an acre here. And so the other people behind us have a third of an acre. Houses are close to the road. So there's a bunch of yard, fence line, bunch of yard, house. And I've caught her back over in his yard, catching them when she doesn't get them here. And in the house she catches them, boys, she's just patient, I guess. Just sitting there and waiting for them, watching the ground move, and gets them at the right time. I don't know how she does it, but I just don't want her to get into a fight with one of the, because I've got some mole traps that I put out myself, and the adults, boy, they are huge, man. I was not expecting a mole to be that big the first time I caught one in the mole trap. They were, I was just dumbfounded. I've never really actually, I guess, seen a mole up close per se. I knew what they looked like from pictures, but I mean, this guy was at least 8-9 inches long, and then longer if I would have kind of put him out and stretched him, and not necessarily stretched him out, but he was. I mean, he was almost as big as a freaking cat, a small cat. And well, I say that because most of my cats have all been small. I've always had mostly girl cats, and all the girl cats I've had have always been fairly small. We've now had a couple boy cats that are definitely bigger, and so they weren't that size, but I had my one cat that I had when we first moved in here, tiny, and she was a tiny cat. She was just a little small, one of the smallest cats I've really ever seen. Everybody thought, even when she was full grown, they were like, "How old is she? 9 months?" And I was like, "No, she's 10 years." She was just such a tiny thing. But she was actually a roommate at the time that her cat had kittens, and this kitten, Mama wouldn't have had nothing to do with. She was born without any hair compared to the rest of the kittens that were in that litter, and she kind of moved the other cats away from her, and didn't really want to have anything to do with her. So I kind of raised her from being a baby. I had a bottle feed her, went and found out what I needed to do that, and she was my little tiny. She had the kitten fur too, because normally kittens have more of a speckled kind of mix of color in it, because she was all black, other than one little white spot on her chest. But throughout her body, she was just speckled with little white speckles. So you could see them just because there were so many of them throughout. But it took her, I want to say almost 3 months to finally start growing in some hair. And all the other kittens were up jumping around, and she was still so tiny. I got a picture of her sitting on my toe of my shoe. I had my leg sitting over the couch, and she crawled up on top of my shoe, and she would fit on the toe of my shoe. But she we had her for 12-ish years, I think, before she got sick and had to be put down, which was a sad day for me for sure, because she was probably the best cat and most loving cat I ever had. But I had a bottle feed her all the time. Whenever I'd go to sleep, she would sleep with me up next to, We've never had another cat since or before that would they would lay beside you and stuff, but no matter what happened, if you accidentally hit her, moved her, pushed her when you were sleeping, she'd just get back up, come lay right next to your head. I like to sleep on my side, so I'd have my arm hanging out beside me and my head on my arm, and she'd just curl up, right in the little curl. If I'd flip over, she'd just walk around, plop down, and she'd just stay there all night till you got up, and then it was time to do her thing. But yeah, she was. I think that was just because I had a bottle feeder. That's how I bottle fed her. I'd be laying down or something, sitting on the couch, and just curl her up in here and in my arm area, and just feed her by a bottle. And she got named Tiny because she was so tiny. Took forever to get hair, so I had to keep her warm all the time. And even when she started getting a little bigger, before, all the other cats were pretty much all weaned and You know, 3 times the size of her. And Mama would still come around and check out what was going on, but she still really just never wanted to have anything to do with her. So I was kind of glad I was actually there, because if we wouldn't have noticed and found where she was actually giving birth before she moved them, we might not have even seen that there was one that she kind of left behind. But yeah, she was. I mean, I've loved all my cats, but she's always had that one that was just a little more. You know, when you have to bottle feed one, it's kind of get a different connection than when you get one that's a little bit older. And that was kind of like Boomer, though. I've seen him grow up. We didn't have to bottle feed him. Mama took care of him. And she dropped him off when he was about 6-7 months old, because she was an outside cat. She brought him over one day to eat because she knew she'd get food from us. And then he just kind of stuck around. And he wanted to be an outdoor cat, though, because he lived outside his first winter. She had him in like in October, and we didn't know what had actually happened to her, because she'd come over and eat during the winter. But we never seen him, and it's like, well, maybe somebody else, took him in or something, and we were unsure. And then, lo and behold, spring rolled around, and seen him outside. He was still nursing, even though he's well past nursing age, but he was a very skittish cat. Because she'd actually brung him over to us, I think they were probably 10, 12 days old. She had 2 kittens in that litter from the neighbors, and she brung them both over here and didn't really drop them off. She just brung them in and was like, "Here, this is where I want them to be." And the neighbors at the time, it was their cat that they put outside along with Buzzy, but she just wanted them over here because she could get inside and have them a little more protected, because out there they just put a cardboard box outside. It was getting cold at night. And they ended up coming over asking, have you seen Lola and her kittens? I reluctantly said, yeah, she brought them to us into our basement. So we have a walkout basement. So she came over and got them, just left them in the box outside again. Drove me nuts. But, what can I really do about it, per se? I wanted to help her out with them, but... And the neighbor had a roommate that was wanting the girl cat, because Lola, she had a girl and a boy in that litter. And the neighbor's roommate wanted to keep the girl cat. She was going to be moving out soon and wanted to keep the girl cat, so she came over and got them all, but nobody took care of the boy cat. And like I said, during the winter time, I just never seen him, so I was unsure if somebody ended up taking him or not until spring, and seen him nursing on her, and I was like, okie dokie. She finally got him to come over with her one day to eat, and because she was starting to come over pretty much daily for food, because they just weren't feeding her either. And she finally got him to come over with her. I had to be kind of put out some food inside here, and she finally got him to come in with her to eat. And as soon as he ate some hard food, she bolted. I didn't see her for like 3 or 4 days. And he kind of hung around. He was very skittish, because he hadn't been around pretty much humans at all. Just stuck with Mama all the time. And it took actually a couple years, and he was still a skittish cat, other than, if there was no humans around, he was like the big dog. He was just like, I'm here, and he slowly become used to me, and that's why he was my yard buddy. He'd follow me around outside like he used to his Mama. But when Mama did show back up, like I said, 3 or 4 days later, she was like, I'm done with you. You've now had hard food. You know how to eat. Leave me alone, because he tried to go nurse on her, and she was like, nope. Started hitting at him. You're not having none. And So he got used to knowing where the food was. He still wanted to go back over into their yard. Just because that's where he grew up. They have a shed out back that had a broken window and actually has a little cat door on the side. And so I think that's where they were pretty much all winter, to keep out of the weather, the majority of the weather. So he used to always want to go back over there. And, I mean, we didn't actually take him in for a while. He'd come over and do his eating, and then he would go back over there. He learned to come over on his own to come get his food and go back over into their shed and hang out in their yard. And we didn't give him a name. I was just like, we're just kind of giving him food. We were going to take him in, but he ended up getting hurt one day, and we took him over to the neighbors. He was limping around. I think he was probably just under a year old at the time, and we're like, yeah, he's over here. He can't get back over into your yard because he hurt his leg. And they were like, oh, okay. And they took him from me and grabbed a cardboard box from in their garage and put it outside and put him in it. I was like, really? And, I mean, it must not have been too bad, because about 2 days later or so, he was back over here. Really wasn't limping too much on it. There was a little bit. He was gingerly with it, but I think he was just ready to come back over and eat. He came over and got his food. Then he just started coming back more and more, and when winter came back around after he was just over a year old, and I started just kind of bringing him in, you know, let him stay down here in the basement and let him go outside when he was wanting to. And I wish I could have got him to be a full inside cat, because that's what ended up, you know. We had him for his older brother is Buzz, because Lola had Buzz before this litter, and we actually ended up taking Lola and getting her fixed. She had 2 more litters, and each litter, since she was eating better and coming over here more often, and she actually had 2 litters here in our basement. First, like I said, it was 2 with the Boomer litter, and then the next litter, because she was eating well and had a place to kind of basically stay. I'd let her come in if she wanted, but she wanted outside more. She had 5 in that litter, and then her last litter she had 6, and after that it was like, you know, we're just gonna have to get her fixed. I don't want her to keep having cats. You know, they weren't taking care of her. They just pretty much let her go, and they probably knew we were feeding her, so she was healthy enough that way. So we ended up getting her fixed. And it was a little bit of a pain there for a couple weeks trying to keep her in, because she was such an outdoor cat. And she was a very sweet cat, but she did not like other cats. Even her own cats, kittens. Once they got old enough, she was done with them. She didn't want to have anything to do with them anymore. So keeping her in, with trying to keep her with Boomer and Buzz, she did not like that at all. But when they weren't around, boy, she was a lovable little thing. She'd just get on my lap and make the biscuits on me in the air, on my leg, whatever. I mean, she was just, you know. But then one of the other boys would come back in. She was like, yeah, alright, I had my lovin', let me out, I want to get away from them. And off she would go. And one winter I was letting her in, and then she just didn't come back. Well, actually it started early. It was like in mid-October. She disappeared for about 2 weeks. I was getting a little concerned. I was like, what's going on? Then she showed back up. And then it was probably mid-December of that year. Was the last time we'd seen her, and I always kind of missed her and wondered what happened to her. Never did see her again. I'm always hoping somebody else took her in, because she was like I said, she was a lovable cat and wanted to be pet on. She just didn't like other animals at all. She just kind of wanted to be her own. So I always hope that somebody took her in and she got to, because I didn't know how old she was, but I know by that time she'd had several litters, and they'd lived there for about 2 years before I'd seen her actually in the window over there for a couple years. And then she started getting out of their house, and that's when she started getting pregnant all the time. So I know she was at least 8 or 9 by the last time we'd seen her. So I'm hoping somebody took her in and she got to live out some more years having a decent time. It's always my hope. But yeah, she had a couple years after she got fixed, and I don't know if that was part of it. But I will say she made all the boys come to the yard before she got fixed. Oh, it drove me nuts. She'd just be out there. We get up next day, there's 3 or 4 males sitting out in the yard just waiting. And it's like, we've had less of that. And then once Boomer, once he got to about 2 years old, he was very protective of our yard. Though he still liked going over in the neighbor, he did not like other cats coming into our yard. So he got into several fights. We had to take him into the vet to get fixed up a couple different times, which led to his problems once he got older. Got him all his shots and everything like that, but still, some of the strays around here were kind of sickly, and so he hadn't gotten into a fight with them for a couple years. I guess I forget the name of the disease they said he had, but it was probably something he had for several years because of getting into fights with the strays. And I definitely miss him. There, every time I go out in the yard, he's not following me around. It's like I can tell because he used to love playing in the brush and leaves. And this will be the first winter that I haven't had him in, so I had him with me. So it's going to be a different winter for sure. Because when I could get him in, he was such a lovable little thing. He was one cat though. His brother Buzz, who we still have, he's my belly cat. He's the one I've talked about who loves his belly being petted. Boomer was like, if you just look at his belly when he was, because when he's outside, he'd just sleep in kind of a ball type thing. But when he was inside, he was just so comfortable, he'd flop over and show his belly, and man, it looked so soft that you could not touch that thing. I swear, you just look about it and think about his belly. He'd look at you like, don't even think about it, man. That's my belly. Leave it alone. Just to go to pick him up, you had to let him know that you weren't just trying to pet his belly. It was like, no, I'm picking you up, buddy. Because he'd let me pick him up without any problems. But if I lingered too long on picking him up, because I'd try to go down there and kind of rub it a little bit before I pick him up, he caught on to that. He's like, no. You come to pick me up, you pick me up. No lingering. Just pick me up. Oh, what time are we at? Oh, we're at 1:21 already. Wow. So, I guess we're going to go ahead and start getting to the final spiel here. Kind of do all my final spiels. Well, I'd like to thank everybody. I say it often, but I do mean it, guys. If you're watching this later, either now or later, live or not, I do thank everybody that does come in, checks us out, see what's going on. I appreciate it. If it wasn't for that, that's what kind of helps me get motivated and want to do these, Even though I don't have a ton of people, I'm still grateful for the ones that do show up, even if it's sometimes just for a little bit. So I do thank everybody. I want to thank everybody that's made purchases from us in the past. This year's definitely been, online sales have been a lot better this year than they have in any other years. So, and a lot of it's been from other mailers. They'll contact me about this or that, and so it's great to have you all here. Don't forget to do out the shares and the likes and all that stuff. Give us some thumbs ups and happy faces, anything you feel like doing that, helps with the algorithm, get us out there more, gets shown to more people on their pages. Appreciate all those that we can get. And like I said, trying to get to that 500 like mark. I figure that's still a while away. It took us 7 years to get 300. But maybe with me promoting a little bit more, maybe I'll get a little more here quicker this time. But, I do appreciate it. I very much appreciate it. More than you will probably ever know. But that's why I keep coming back and doing this, so. We're going to go ahead and We're at 124. I'll get to the end of my green row here, and then we'll close it up for the night. So, don't forget, you can find us on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Also, my website for Booga Mail, the Booga Box. The website address is boogamail.com because I had issues with trying to use theboogabox.com. I still have control of that actual domain, but every time I try to use it, I have somebody that just wants to give me problems, and I had to get a lawyer once, and so we kind of came to an agreement that I wouldn't use it if he would stop harassing me. It's like I just want to do my thing. I don't want to have to worry about this. So maybe one of these years, I can use it. I do use the email address for it. So like I said, I do have domain. I still have the domain for myself, but just don't use it. When I can eventually open it back up, I'll probably just mirror it from boogamail.com and the Booga Box. It'll all be kind of the same thing, just doubled. So go over there and check us out at boogamail.com. See all our things. Don't forget that we actually do laser etching of acrylics, wood. I got all kinds of things if you go into the branded section. Or if you're checking on Facebook pages, you'll see all the different, I do tumblers and pocket knives and all kinds of just laser etching stuff. And I do laser etching chainmail scales. If you're ever wanting a custom made scale, laser etch scale, just let me know. That's stuff I can do too. I don't really have that out there to on the site to sell. I've sold many because people find out that I do that, so they've asked me to do things, so I do those too. So don't forget to check that out too. Let's see here. Yeah, this will be the last green one. So yeah, go check us out there too. Appreciate everybody's time. I hope you guys end up having a good week this week. Hope you had a good weekend. We will be back on Wednesday this week. Small project. I got to still figure out that small project, but we'll do something on Wednesday for small project night. But I hope you all have a great night. Don't forget to go check out Mailworks. Sean over there, Sean White at Mailworks. He has a stream, does some awesome work. If you're looking for any chainmail themed apparel, he's got shirts and leggings and all kinds of cool stuff. I mean, light switch covers, and if you like the look of chainmail and want to add it to something, boots, car seat covers and stuff. So go check that stuff out. It's all great stuff to see. But I'm going to go ahead and end tonight. You all have a great night, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Peace.